Hello, everyone. It's me, Lancer737, and today we're doing a special adventure. We're going into the labyrinth, and unfortunately for me, I got a little bit of a bug when the game started, so I'm going to be super far behind. Unfortunately, that's just how it is. But let's get right into it. Let's get into the labyrinth. Let's save Rainbow Dash because that is the mission. Well, it's not that we're saving Rainbow Dash. We're saving her wings, otherwise she can't function the way that she normally can, but you get the idea. So let's do this. I'm gonna try to clear out the outer edges first a little bit. Oh, and what do you know? We have found a shop. Hopefully, it'll have some cool characters in it. For some reason, it's not letting me click on it. So anyway, this is what Twilight has to say. Oh, look at the sign here. I screwed that up. Oh, look at the sign here. The guide ponies at this agency have volunteered to lend their expertise and help you navigate the forest maze. Wow, that's really convenient. I think I have most of these characters. I might not have the rodeo clown, metamorphosed soldier. I might. Definitely not the Clugtown Potter though. It's funny. I was just saying. I think I have these people, and then I look. I was like, wait, no. Actually, you know what? I don't. I don't actually have these people. But that is the way it is. I will be back for them though. I think I will. I mean, unless things get really bad, I think I'll have enough points to permanently get one of the characters that I don't own. So far, I've been lucky, and most of the characters I have unlocked, I've already owned them. The game was. It did force me though to get a character I wouldn't have cared to unlock. Ooh, we're gonna have another boss fight. Let's see if I have enough points for it. Well. Two ponies. One. There's there's three ponies here and a dragon, but okay. Two ponies wandering around here where they aren't invited. Unless you got an invitation to be in this labyrinth, in which case, you know what? Never mind. Go away. So I just barely do not have enough points, but that's okay. I can replace a couple of the characters. I think, unfortunately, I will have to get rid of the dragon. Granted, he is a jerk that, if I remember correctly, the russet dragon is the one that lied about being related to Spike. But, that's just how it is. So I will replace him with her. Diamond Rose, cool name. And unfortunately, I like Grimhoof, but I think I will have to replace him too. Oh, wait, or will I? Yeah. You know what? That doesn't matter. I won't have enough points. I am in trouble. Oh, boy. Okay, and I probably can't go there. No, I cannot go there. Let's see if there's anyone I can get here. I forgot there is a couple characters I was not able to get at the store. Um, well, I can get Fluttershy. So going back over here, it sucks that I'm so far behind, but it's still gonna be pretty fun. And it is a pain in the butt, yeah, that the game messed up, so it forced me to be far behind, but still, it's still having fun. Besides the fact that I'm choking to death. So hope everyone else is having a great time. I hope you're having fun too. I hope you've made it far into the labyrinth. And I should have enough points. I do. So let's take on the Minotaur. The ponies right now are dancing the Minotaur to oblivion. He is in pain and racked with lots of guilt for picking the wrong side. To be honest with you, I think I. Oh, hey, Jerry H. Hey, I can actually see comments now. That's insane. Hi, Jerry. Hello. I'm almost near the feet, the pony one. Oh, I know what you mean. There should be 2 to 3 mini bosses in this. I guess they've upgraded this now. I can see comments. Okay, so okay, fine, have it your way. But if you run into the whole lot of tougher creatures than me, don't say I didn't warn you. Sure thing. That's what losers say when they lose. Another mysterious magical chest. Yes, sign me up. Let's open this thing. Yeah, I love this game too. Hey, there's one of my I can't talk. Storm King guards. Anti-sugar papillatour. Changeling consular. So, okay, well, I'm getting them all. If the button works. You know what? The funny thing is, I have so many of these characters that I sometimes I forget if I have them at all or not. So I know it's gonna weaken me, but I do like the Storm Guard, and I would like to at least destroy one enemy with that Storm Guard. Let's get him right now. He probably feels awkward being on my team too. Oh, and also don't forget to like and share and subscribe if you haven't already. And go ahead and comment. And now that I can definitely see your comments, ask me anything that you want to ask at all. And I hope you're having a lot of fun. Let's see. Let's get into this. Now I can go to the store, which I probably can't buy anything, unfortunately. Oh, wait, that was a generator. Okay, well, I got a nice generator. Oh, congratulations, Jerry. Jerry got Celestia. Celestia is one of my favorites. She's probably not one of my absolute favorites, but she's pretty high up there. She's a pretty cool character. Is she your favorite character? Look how fast he runs. He's like the fastest runner. That's awesome. I'm glad that you got her and she's your favorite character. What's your favorite version of her in the game? I want to watch him run. Look how fast he runs. That's awesome. Oh yeah, I missed out on getting it, but I will get her next time. The rainbow-fied one is pretty cool. Um, for me, I guess I can't make him run too far. He'll just teleport. But for me, if we're talking about Celestia and the different versions of her, believe it or not, I think my favorite version of her is Daybreaker because Daybreaker is a really good villain, especially the alternate universe versions where she does more than just what she did in the TV show. That's hilarious. Run! I'm having too much fun with seeing him run. I'm sorry about that. I'll get to going to the maze now. That's hilarious. I don't even think the dragon ran like that. Um, but yeah, Daybreaker is such a good villain, and I am also very proud of. I'm very proud of the animated video that I made where she fights Queen Opaline because I think the fight would have went the way that it did, the way I depicted it. I mean, granted, there's always some factor. You never know. Maybe Queen Opaline is more powerful than she looks. I just don't believe it. Oh, could you say that comment one more time? There is a bug with this app. Your comment only exists to me for a couple seconds and it disappears. I'm sorry about that. Oh yeah, Cosmos. That is a pretty cool character. I'm pretty sure this is a rerun for me, but there was like a third time that we got this campaign, and I thought it was a rerun, and we got a different version of Cosmos and added more to it. So I'm kind of curious if this is a rerun or if they're going to surprise us with a third Cosmos. Would you like to see her after I'm out of the labyrinth, or do you want to be surprised by when you get her and see what her profile is? Okay, I'll show it after I'm done here. Um, let's see. What does the dialogue say? Stuck in the labyrinth with a couple of rude, marauding ponies. This is a nightmare. Well, it should be. I mean, like, you have a storm guard in front of you, too, and he runs like a maniac. You should be scared of him. Okay. Oh, crap. I don't have enough points. Ooh. Ooh, oh, wait, you know what? I don't even think I would have enough points if I got rid of the Storm Guard either. Oh dear. Um, this the trek through the labyrinth may have been cut short for me, at least for a little bit, which is very disappointing. Um, yeah, I don't think I would have enough points, even if I got the most powerful character here that I own and don't own. I would like to get that Pinkie Pie apple. To be honest with you, that's a pretty cool character, Halloween one. I might have to hold off on that, and that is unless I can. No, I can't go anywhere else. Gosh dang! I wonder if I could speed up these generators. Oh, I can. I get the same amount of points from each one, so why not? You know, I don't even know what I'm doing. That's not going to get me enough. That is not going to get me enough at all. I wonder how many. I wonder how much rubies it costs to refill this. I bet it'll be insane too. I bet it'll be like 1,000 rubies or something. Okay, how many? How many rubies? 10 rubies. That's not bad. At the same time, I'm not getting enough coins to actually have that matter. Um, let's look in the store again. I'm getting some weird response negativity. It's not really working out too well. Excuse me. I am gonna have to wait on that. I am sorry. I thought we were gonna have like a huge stream with doing stuff, and because of that glitch, it put me behind. But that being said, let's go look at Cosmos. This is a little bit spoiler. If you want to not be spoiled and you want to, for the first time ever, when you beat this, look at Cosmos. Don't look at for just don't look at the stream for a little bit. But we're gonna go look at both the different versions of Cosmos I have. Okay, to the map we go, and I think they're both in Ponyville. I think they're both in Ponyville. They should be right here. Or not. Okay, I think they might be here. No. It's going to be in this area because I purposely put her pretty close to Discord. Yeah, okay, so here's both Cosmos. I'm not sure which one is the award one for this one. She looks really cool. Mind-shatteringly terrifying cosmic horror. Also, Discord's X. The breakup was not amicable. Here, we can do a little scan. You know what? No, I don't think I'm gonna not throw show the 3D model. Whenever I'm doing the videos, the game almost always crashes if I do those, and that's why I always pause it before I click that button. So I have no idea what would happen. It might destroy the stream. I don't know. But here's the other one. This one's even more lethal. Restored Cosmos. Look how freaking evil she looks. She has Celestia's hair. I mean, Twilight's hair too, kinda. Doesn't it look like Twilight's hair? At least the color. It has the navy blue as the main color, and then there's a neon pink and purple stripe there. So she's back. Now, if there's a third one, it's going to be like she's back again. Maybe she'll have like arms like Goro or something from Mortal Kombat. I don't know. Would be kind of cool. Surprise. Where is she right now? Oh, she is currently getting some cupcakes, and she's hanging out with T-Rex dad. Oh, she's at Lucky's house, and she's with Lucky Clover, Mr. Breezy, which is related to Ron Weasley. Long story short, and Wildfire. That's a great combination. And later they're gonna go here and get some cupcakes at Sugar Cube Corner before she destroys it. She has a sweet tooth before she collapses universes. So, I hope you enjoyed that. Like I said, I'm kind of disappointed. I didn't realize the stream would be shorter than I thought it would be because I didn't know I'd have enough coins. But I hope you like the preview of what Cosmos looks like. And again, there could be a third one. There could be a third Cosmos because this one was a surprise. I was not expecting like the third time playing that campaign. So, what can we do now? Well, right now, I can show you my friend code. Don't forget to add me. My friend code is in top left hand corner. My official name now is Violet Dreams. I could not make it Captain Blueberry Buckaroo like I used to a super long time ago, but Violet Dreams will do. It's a pretty cool name. Anyway, do any of you, before I go, because I can't do anything unfortunately. Oh, there she goes. She's flying now. She flies just like the stormtroopers in Star Wars Episode 9. Would any of you like to watch some fan fiction, My Little Pony fan fiction from Ink Rose? If you do, put a 1 in chat. If not, I will end it here, unfortunately. Okay, so I'm going to pause the stream and find some. I'll be right back. Hello, everyone. I'm back, and this is one of Ink Rose's videos. If you weren't here before, oh, hello. Your name's kind of blending in with the background. It's kind of semi-transparent, but I see someone else has joined the chat. Hello to you. I'm glad you're here. I hope you're having fun. I hope you're having a great time with the campaign. So, if you weren't here before when I did this before, I was watching some of Ink Rose's videos. Ink Rose was the first person I ever got into when I immediately got in MLP. I think I heard more of her stuff than the official stuff when I got into it. When I got in MLP, I think it was by the time it was maybe the fourth or fifth season. But yeah, when I was her stuff, it just blew me away. I love our fan fiction. I think our fandom is awesome with fan fiction, and this is the backstory for Applejack's parents.
Hello, my Brony and Pegasister friends. I'm Ink Rose, and today I will be telling you my headcanon story of Applejack's mother and father.
Let me know if that's loud enough.
This video is pretty much a fanfiction reading of a story I wrote that happens to be my headcanon. So if you don't like that kind of thing, just don't watch. Now let's get started. 3, 2, 1. Back in the early days of Ponyville, Granny Smith, then called Lady Smith, got married to a lovely stallion named Orange Tart, an orange farmer. Now,
heresy, that never happened. Oranges, oh wait, never mind. Oranges are a part of the apple family. Disregard what I said.
Smith and her husband had many children, but the eldest were Cetresa Orange and Washington Apple. Cetresa Orange grew up and left the farm, seeking job opportunities in Manhattan. There she married and became the CEO of a large orange production company. Washington, though, stayed in Ponyville with his parents and younger siblings, helping to build the farmhouse they would live in. He helped found the Apple Family Acres and worked with his father to plant hundreds of acres of apple trees. Washington.
I hate to do this, but I think I remember in a later season, I think didn't like when they founded Ponyville. I think Celestia was there, and they kind of had the beginnings of Sweet Apple Acre. So I hate to say that kind of ruins this if I'm remembering. Really, I can't talk. Remembering this correctly.
Was a hard worker, that was for sure. He grew to be the strongest stallion in Ponyville, becoming even more muscle-bound than his father was. When one of the first annual winter wrap-ups came around, Washington seemed to do all of the work himself, working his hardest to bring spring to the town. It was there that he met Sweet Apple, the daughter of another apple farmer. Sweet Apple was the manager of many of the town's festivities, including winter wrap-up. She was very impressed with the stallion's strength and skills, and invited him to come to dinner one night to her family's farmhouse. Washington accepted and met Sweet Apple for supper that night. They both bonded almost immediately, having the same interests and morals. After that night,
they're both apples. It was bound to happen.
They began meeting more and more, sometimes helping each other with their farm work. The two became almost inseparable. They were seen together laughing and talking all day long. When Orange Tart passed away from a horrid sickness, leaving Washington inheriting
rest in peace in chat
the farm, it was Sweet Apple that helped comfort the Apple family after the tragedy. It was then that Washington realized what a special pony Sweet Apple was, and perhaps, just perhaps, she would be willing to spend the rest of
hello in chat, and thank you for the RIP. I feel sorry for the Orange and Apple family.
Her life with him, together till the end. On a very special day, Washington took Sweet Apple to the Apple family farm and unveiled a new, repainted sign that hung over the archway at the entrance. It read, Sweet Apple Acres. Washington kneeled in front of Sweet Apple and held out a small bracelet with an apple-shaped charm hanging off of it. He then asked a shocked Sweet Apple for her hoof in marriage. Her voice choking up, Sweet Apple cried, "Yes!" as she embraced Washington tightly. The wedding was nice and simple, with members of both families attending. The town mayor presided over the ceremony. After the two were wed, a wonderful reception happened. The newlyweds danced together to a joyful country tune, their worries seeming to melt away at the prospect of a new wonderful future together.
Wait a minute. What's Granny Smith doing there? I call continuity error.
A few years later...
Granted, I know why. It's because they needed that picture, and it happens to have her in it. I'll let it slip this time.
After the couple had settled into their routine of caring for the farm, Sweet Apple announced during one of the Apple family reunions that she was pregnant with a child of her in Washington. There was a joyful cheer, and the family celebrated throughout the night. It was also at this time that Sweet Apple decided to use her talents of organizing and leadership for more than just helping with winter wrap-up.
Anyone see their favorite tertiary ponies down in this? I see Amethyst Star, and I see great. What's the one that's almost colored like her that has to do with the ocean? I kind of see them too. Actually, I think I see two Amethyst Stars. This video is full of continuity errors, and this picture is from the show, so the show is full of continuity errors.
She also felt that working on a farm was not the only thing she wanted to do with her life. After the announcement of her pregnancy, she ran for town mayor, which kept her quite busy over the next few months, as her little child grew within her. On election day, it was announced with great fanfare that Sweet Apple had won the election, and she trotted onto the stage with a gleaming smile on her face, waving to the ponies in the crowd. But suddenly, her smile twisted into a frown, and her eyes widened. Her face turned white as she whispered something into her husband's ear. His mouth opened wide, and he quickly escorted his wife off the stage, to the surprise of the audience. The couple's very first baby was ready to be born, and at a very interesting moment, that was for sure. That night, Sweet Apple gave birth in the Ponyville Hospital to a beautiful little stallion. He was named Big Macintosh. Life on the farm was sure busier than usual for the Apple family.
His first words were, "Yup."
Washington's brothers and sisters had moved away in order to start their own farms around Equestria, leaving him to do the work of 10 ponies. Meanwhile, Sweet Apple was busy running Ponyville as the newly appointed mayor. Lady Smith, now called Granny Smith, did the baking for the family, making Zap Apple jam, Sweet Apple cider, and her famous apple pies to sell. Big Macintosh found himself being raised by all 3 of these busy ponies, each taking care of him during their free time, though sometimes they had to take him with them when they worked. As Big Mac grew to the age of 5, though, he started to work with his father out in the orchards, learning how to buck trees and harvest the apples. He seemed to grow bigger and stronger every day. Washington was proud of his son. so much so that he gave him his old horse collar. It was a bit big for the young colt, but he would grow into it. Then, months later, another ray of sunshine was born to the apple family. The orange filly was named Applejack.
They kind of do. Take in mind, she also made this like well before we ever got that episode, so it's kind of interesting that she got a little bit right when she made this, but she also got some stuff wrong. But yeah, the colors are a little bit of a reversal.
Now, Big Macintosh and his newborn sister got along very well. Mac had hardly been able to play with other kids because of all the farm work he had to do. Now he had a lovely little sister to care for and play with. Sometimes he would pull baby Applejack around the orchards in a small cart Washington had made just for him.
I guess Big Mac was like pink at an age. It's like in his teenage age, he's like, "I'm pink now. Where did the red go?" You are now pink apple.
Applejack
Actually, to be honest with you, pink apples, I think they might be my favorite one. Pink lady apples, those make really good apple pies.
would always coo and giggle during these rides, and her brother would smile and laugh along with her. As Applejack grew up on the farm, she spent a lot of time with her father. She was a
I love Fiona. I wish I had her in Pocket Ponies. Just I'm sorry. I kind of have to interrupt it just so that, I don't get in trouble with YouTube and they'll claim that I just uploaded a video with no commentary. But I do love that dog. I wish I had it in both the Game Loft game and Pocket Ponies.
daddy's girl, that was for certain. Even at a young age, she would sneak out onto the orchard when she escaped from under Granny Smith's watchful eye. Then she would watch her father and big brother working, bucking apples and putting baskets full of the delicious fruit onto carts. Then she would try her best to help, kicking her tiny back hooves against the bark of the apple trees and then losing her balance and falling over, giggling all the while. Her father would laugh when he spotted her, picking her up in his strong hooves and telling her that she was too young to help her daddy. Young Big Mac would give a small grin, waving at his silly little
Doggos for the win. Yeah, I agree. I love Fiona.
sister as their father took her back into the farmhouse. One day, however, when naughty little Applejack slipped into
I do like that Ink Rose had to write there. This is the young version. It's like, oh, I can't tell this is the young version Applejack. What would make you think that it is?
the orchard, her father picked her up and then placed his fedora onto her tiny little head. "You're sure getting big, you little rascal," Washington said with a warm smile.
And they got that right too. Ink Rose did that. She nails it out of the park. She has some videos that are even more accurate than this, but it's amazing she made these many years before we would actually get episodes about the same stuff.
"I want to teach you how to buck apples the right way." Applejack laughed in joy, nodding her head vigorously. That day, her father taught her everything she needed to know about bucking apples. She was too weak to actually get any apples to fall, but Washington was so proud of his little one that he let her keep the hat he had set on her head. She hardly ever took it off since. Once Sweet Apple had finished her term as mayor of Ponyville, having been re-elected once, she decided to get back into her family life, helping to take care of the children and even homeschooling them. She bonded with both of her children beautifully. The family was more united than ever before. It was at this time that Sweet Apple became pregnant once again. Applejack was quite excited to have a younger sibling of her own, to say the least. Big Mac was overjoyed at the prospect of another sister, and though Washington had his hooves full with the first two kids, he was still filled with elation when he heard the news. Once the tiny baby was born, she was named Apple Bloom. Sweet Apple tied her special pink ribbon to the baby's mane, promising to always be there for her. To celebrate the coming of the newborn, Washington's brother, Crispy Caramel, and his family invited Washington, Sweet Apple, and the kids to a party at their place. Sweet Apple and Washington realized that the quickest way to Crispy Caramel's farm was through the Everfree Forest. They knew that it was a bit risky, but they had been in the forest many times and never came across any danger. In fact, the forest was actually very peaceful. So, on the night of the party, Sweet Apple and the children climbed up
Yes, peaceful. Just ignore the glowing red eyes in the right-hand corner.
into the cart, while Washington hooked himself up to it and began to pull his family along the road through the Everfree. The trip was quite uneventful, and soon the family reached the party, where a wonderful celebration commenced with food, dancing, and wonderful stories around the fireplace.
Anyone have any favorite ponies in this picture? Granted, we're kind of supposed to pretend some of them we don't know. Well, yeah, I No, I don't know if some of them should have been born yet, but still, I like Applejack's cousin the most in this. I like the one that's darkish gray color and has the red mane. My forward button's right over it. I like him too. I just don't know his name.
After the festivities were done, the family was ready to go home, their bellies full and hearts content. Crispy Caramel asked if perhaps the family would like to stay overnight, since it was getting very late.
That's a pretty good choice. I like Brayburn.
Washington refused, since he had to get up bright and early the next day to start work. And so the family piled into the wagon and they set off into the dark forest.
And nothing bad will happen.
The family was almost out of the forest when disaster struck. A pack of timber wolves shot out of the forest, pouncing onto the cart in a flash. Shocked and filled with terror, Sweet Apple instinctively flung herself over her children, using her body to protect them. Then Washington quickly tackled the timber wolves off of the cart, his hooves flying as he busted the horrible creatures into nothing but splinters. But that was not the end of it. More timber wolves were coming, their howls heard in the distance, dangerously close. At the urging of Washington, Sweet Apple collected the children and fled down the road with them in tow, as Washington faced the next wave of vicious wolves. The children cried out for their father, but their wounded mother screamed at them to keep going, to escape the forest. Daddy was coming, she assured them. The growls and yelps of the wolves was all they heard as they fled. The edge of the Everfree was soon in sight, but before she could reach it, Sweet Apple collapsed, horribly wounded from when she had protected her children from the wolves' first attack. Applejack and Big Mac cried, trying their best to help their weak mother to her hooves, but Sweet Apple could not stand. Instead, she urged them with tears in her eyes to run out of the forest with their...
I would have liked to have seen that also. The only reaction I saw her make quasi recently, granted this isn't really recently, was when they showed they had a character that was nearly named identical to her OC's name, which I think that is a shout out because there's too many things that are very similar to her fan fiction, and like they've shown that well, at least in the past for G4, they used to love reading our fanfic, and some elements of it would make it into the show. I don't talk about it much on my channel, and I probably should have, but I love making my own fan fiction, and I made some on the man. There was a social app. I don't remember the name of it now because it's been such a long time since I used it. But like there was a huge MLP community on it. But long story short, I was making a whole bunch of stories on it. And both the actresses that played as Luna and Celestia saw one of the stories I made and they liked it. I'm never gonna forget that too. That was so cool. But it was about Princess Luna and her like trying to make friends and adjust to current times. But because there is a bit of a continuity issue compared to some of the stuff I've written, I kind of do just go ahead and count it as an alternate universe. Heck, the game we play counts as an alternate universe. I like it a lot. It's pretty cool. I like the different changes in it versus the normal continuity. But like going back, to Ink Rose, I don't think she ever said anything about her stories themselves being so similar. I just know that she thought it was cool and interesting that they added Inked Rose. I think that's what her name was, Inked Rose, into the series as opposed to Ink Rose. That's a little bit too much on the nose. And to be fair, also the actual official character looks a little bit cooler. No offense to Ink Rose, but our OCs, we can make some pretty cool OC characters, but sometimes, there's just some creativity things that uh, people that are hired into it can do a little bit better job at it. Not that I'm saying that it's necessarily completely superior, because our heart and souls do go into the characters we work on. And I'm sorry for going on a rant. Let's watch some more of this.
baby sister, and to get to the safety of the farmhouse at all costs. The children, filled with terror, watched as their mother lost consciousness, hugging her tightly. Then, hearing the growls of the timber wolves behind them, they ran, Macintosh carrying Apple Bloom on his back. They escaped the forest and dashed into the farmhouse, weeping profusely as they told a horrified Granny Smith of what had happened.
Not to ruin the serious moment, but seeing this picture, it makes me wish we had a nighttime mode for Sweet Apple Acres. It looks really nice. Granted, I'm a nighttime person. I love nighttime things, and themes. It's not just Princess Luna. Like there's a lot of things like if you have the colors or theme of something like Princess Luna, I'm gonna love it. So seeing a nighttime version of Sweet Apple Acres, I really like it. Now back to the serious story.
Granny hurriedly went into the forest to find that the Timberwolves had completely disappeared. She put her hoof over her mouth and made a muffled cry as she found what had become of Sweet Apple in Washington. When morning arrived, a party of ponies delved into the forest to retrieve the bodies of Sweet Apple and Washington. They were buried the same day in the orchard, together. It was a devastating time for the little family. The two eldest children grew quiet and sad, their greatest friends forever gone. They were put into a public school.
Chad, I have a question because it is a little bit fuzzy for me. Yeah, that's true. Like in the lore, so many characters in the earlier years did not like the knight, and it's like she's one of the biggest, most popular characters. um, but chat, do you remember? I'm a little bit fuzzy on what happened in the aftermath. Did I thought they completely vanished? They didn't get to have a funeral in the main continuity, right? Apple Pear, not Apple Pear, no, Pear Butter and Bright Mac. They as far as the children are concerned, they just vanished, right? I don't remember that part, but I think the attack with the Timberwolves is similar, isn't it?
For the first time, really having to socialize with the other children in Ponyville, Big Mac became very introverted, hardly ever speaking unless he needed to. Applejack no longer wanted to stay on the farm. It held too many painful memories for her, and she rebelled against the idea of apple bucking again. Instead, she went to live with Aunt and Uncle Orange, who she wanted to be her new parents. She wanted so badly to have the feeling of family again. But the Oranges were just so different from her real parents, and they were forcing her to become a pony she did not want to become. When Applejack saw that rainbow pointing her back home, she felt like it was the spirits of her parents themselves pointing her there. She was meant to take on her parents' legacy as apple farmers, and it was something she realized she loved to do. Applejack returned home, and as soon as she saw her family again, a bright flash appeared on her flank. Her cutie mark, 3 apples, symbolized her talent for bucking apples, the skills her father had taught her. She was where she truly belonged. She was fulfilling her destiny.
That was a beautiful story, and I also had to point out that that version also of the nighttime theme was a little bit different, and it looked even cooler with the twin tails. Didn't that also happen in the episode about their family? Didn't that happen too? Wasn't there a comment at the end? Man, it's been such a long time since I've seen that episode. I would just play it right now. They have it for free, but it's like weird things happen whenever I actually play MLP stuff on the channel outside the game. Even the game sometimes gives me copyright problems. Yeah, I forgot too. Like, I love all the stuff in it, but like what I focus on mostly is like lore with Luna and Celestia and high magic and action and stuff, and obviously Spike because I love Purple Dragons. But like I'm a little bit fuzzy now about what happened at Family, and again, I would love to just play that episode right now, but Hasbro and stuff gives me lots of trouble just because a couple seconds of music in the game, and it's like it's in the game. Why are you getting me in trouble? Why you hate me so much? Okay, we're gonna go to the next video. I'm gonna pause it for just a second. Now, this one is about, as you can see right here, Rainbow Dash's parents. And again, it's so strange that she got some stuff right and some stuff wrong. It's always been in the lore now that Rainbow Dash, if we go by all the stuff that we do know now, that both her uncle and or friend of the family and her dad are both purplish bodied and have the rainbow stripes, which I think is sick. I love it. And so this, I'm also excited for it because like I love Rainbow Dash. I love her family. So let's get into it.
Hello there, my Brony and Pegasister friends. I'm Ink Rose, and today I'm going to be telling you my headcanon story for Rainbow Dash's parents. This is basically a reading of a fan fiction I wrote that happens to be my headcanon, so to those of you who don't like that kind of thing, just don't watch. Ready? 3, 2, 1.
Yeah, there's like so much of us love that stuff. Not to discount the other stuff, but I really do think that high mystery, high magic stuff involving the two sisters and alicorns and stuff, that's probably, from my perspective, probably the most popular stuff. I could be wrong, but that's what it just feels like. It's just the stuff with Luna and Celeste is just so cool. Yeah, Lullaby for a Princess. That was it. And there's so many different versions because there's different they went through different phases for the original one. So like there's gonna be some with just Luna's lullaby and some with just Celestia's. And then there's a cut that has them both, and then like I think it's a little bit longer, not just because of that, but there's more lyrics added. I think they went through a couple official different singers, and then because it was so popular, a lot of other people made their own versions of it, so it gets a little bit jumbled. But I love it all. Everyone that sings in our community rocks, I think. But anyway, let's get into it. But you're right, it was Lullaby.
In the city of Cloudsdale, a beautiful place floating high in the sky, lived two Pegasi who were destined to be the parents of the next bearer of the element of loyalty. The father's name was Spectrum
He looks freaking awesome, and yeah, the name is obviously wrong.
Streak. This handsome
Oh, but even then, we have multiverse stuff in the game. So, chat, we need to get Game Loft to make Spectrum Streak. I don't care if essentially we already have two different male Pegasus that are purple bodied with the rainbow. I don't care. We need more. We need it more. Let's get Game Loft to do it. Don't know how, but we're gonna make him do it. Like his special thing, maybe he leaves a trail of rainbow behind him a little bit longer as he moves. That would be kind of cool. And when he flies, like it leaves a longer rainbow trail behind him.
Stallion was a racer by trade, competing in various racing competitions all around Equestria. His speed was matched by no other, and he was legendary for his trademark streak of rainbow that appeared behind him as he flew at great speeds. Though Spectrum was an athlete, every night he would write stories to his heart's content, creating fantastical legends and wonderful characters. He was a calm, quiet soul, his natural serenity helping him keep his cool during a race. The mother, Firefly, was a stunt.
Yeah, that is true. Um, and it again, it goes back to with the fan fiction stuff. It looks like a lot of it did influence the writers because they love to go through a lot of our stuff and take inspiration from it. Granted, not everything. There is some disturbing stuff, which I'm glad they did. But yeah, I think the only thing with this fan fiction, though, I don't think they got the mom right, but the dad pretty much to a degree. I mean, maybe he wasn't the fastest, but definitely Rainbow Blitz is. And I think isn't it off and on that he's either an uncle or just a friend of the family? But I, to be fair, looking at it, I think he's related to Rainbow Dash.
Fire. Her dazzling tricks and flips were the talk of Cloudsdale. She had won 2 young flyer competitions in a row. Practicing was her passion, and she scarcely did much else. After all, one day she planned to join the famous Wonderbolts. Though she practiced her tricks whenever she could, the mayor still needed money, and she worked at the Cloudsdale Stadium to earn bits until she could join the Wonderbolts. Her personality was very headstrong, and Firefly often found herself getting into trouble due to not being able to think ahead. She was still sweet and kind to others, though, and her fiery and hyper personality gained her many friends. One day, when Spectrum Streak participated in a big race that was taking place at the Cloudsdale Stadium, he happened to spot Firefly, who was polishing the marble columns of the Cloudsdale Stadium while partaking in a lively chat with her fellow employees. For some strange reason, Spectrum felt something pulling at his heartstrings when he looked at the mayor. He tried to shake it off, flying into the stadium to get ready for the race, but he couldn't help thinking about that stranger. As he zipped up his flying suit, he thought about the way her luscious blue mane had flowed in the wind. And as he strapped on his goggles, he thought about the way her shining purple eyes had glistened with happiness as she laughed with her friends. There was no doubt Spectrum Streak had a crush on the strange mare he had seen cleaning the columns. He had certainly never felt that way about any mare before, but the pink and blue Pegasus girl had stolen his heart with just one look. Perhaps he had sensed the sweet and yet fiery personality of the mare. Perhaps his soul had just known he had found the perfect match. As the race began, Spectrum Streak let his mind focus on impressing the pink mare. He could see her, excitedly smiling and watching as she sat in the stands.
He's gonna wreck, isn't he?
Yet, he would do it for her. He had never had real inspiration.
Yeah, it would. I do agree with that.
To race before, other than for enjoyment or money. Finally having a reason to race, to make a certain mare happy, filled his heart with a warm feeling. With a shrill tweet, the starting whistle was blown, and the Pegasus racers shot themselves away from the starting line. Spectrum's senses turned themselves up to the max, taking in every racer and the subtle movements of their muscles, predicting where they were planning to turn next. Spectrum Streak anticipated their every move as he sped around the oval track, his mind focused on making this a special day for that one pink and blue mare. A resounding cheer rang throughout the stadium. Spectrum Streak had finished in first place. Every pony was ecstatic, yelling out his name in excited cries of joy. A golden medal was set around his neck, and set into his hooves was a bunch of colorful flowers. But all Spectrum Streak could see was the face of that pink mare, her beaming smile melting his heart. Then the audience prompted the winning racer to give a speech. He accepted and gave a heartfelt speech while temporarily looking away from the mare. But once the speech was over and he looked back at the mare's seat, she was gone. Disheartened.
That means the speech was boring. I hate to say. Don't kill me.
But not letting it show on his face, Spectrum waved to the crowd as he flew inside the stadium. He needed a rest after all that energy-draining activity. But as soon as he stepped into the racer's rest and eat area, Spectrum's mouth dropped open. There, standing near the snack bar, was that pink Pegasus, and she was looking right at him. For once, the rider was at a loss of words. "Hello there, I'm Firefly. It's an honor to meet you," the mayor said. She walked right up to Spectrum and smiled. Spectrum Streak closed his mouth, gulping. Why are you here?" "Well, I work here. I'm in charge of taking care of athletes after their competitions. Now, would you like some water?" Firefly asked. "Yes, water would be nice, thank you," Spectrum answered, watching as Firefly flew over to the concession stand. Soon the other racers filed into the room, grabbing drinks and chilling themselves off. He sat at one of the tables, taking deep breaths as he tried to calm his beating heart, which was pumping fast after the big race. And then seeing Firefly, he stretched out his wings and then lowered them, letting the cool air flow through his heated feathers. He was ready to take a shower and then a nap. Firefly returned, balancing a cup of water on her outstretched wing. Spectrum snatched the cup and guzzled down every drop of the water. He set the cup on the table and wiped his mouth with his hoof. Firefly quickly refilled it. "So, do you live here in Cloudsdale?" Spectrum Streak asked shyly. He didn't
I just noticed that he flew so fast he lost his cutie mark.
talk to others much, and he certainly didn't know how to woo a mare. "Yeah, I kinda have to if I work here," Firefly said with a smile. "You?" "I live here too. I'm just not around much because of the racing hours." "Well, that explains why I haven't seen you around here before. Your racing skills are legendary," Firefly stated with a grin. "Thank you," Spectrum replied, not quite sure what else to say. "Hey, I've been wondering, have you ever met any of the Wonderbolts? Because I've been training to get into their ranks like forever, and it would be really cool if you could tell me anything you know about them." Spectrum was relieved that they now had something to talk about. He had worked with Wonderbolts numerous times, and he told Firefly everything he knew about its members. He warmed up inside as he watched her curious eyes light up with wonder when she heard a new piece of information. He wondered if the mayor was taking a liking to him. Firefly, however, didn't really care for the stallion she was talking with. The Wonderbolts information was all she really needed from him. After he told her what she knew, she smiled at him and then said her goodbyes to Spectrum.
I think the only complaint that I have with the story is I feel like they should all know what the Wonderbolts are and who they are. I mean, they're a special elite flying stunt unit that also is part of the military. It's not like they're secret. I mean, maybe people thought they were. I don't know. That's the only thing that, I like it for the most part.
Utter disappointment. As she moved on to get refreshments to the other racers, Spectrum sat in a daze, hardly believing that he had been able to talk with her. He was determined to get to know this mare. He knew she had to be the right one for him. Once she was done serving and washing the used cups, Spectrum trotted up to her. "Hi there," he said. You were interested in joining the Wonderbolts, so I thought that maybe I could help you with that, training you and such." Firefly's eyes widened in amazement. "Wait, you're serious?" "Well, yes, of course." The next few months were very busy for both Spectrum and Firefly. Spectrum had races and speed training, while Firefly was busy at her job in the Cloudsdale Coliseum. But in their spare time, they would meet up in the sky behind Firefly's helm, where Spectrum Streak would train her hard. While he loved her more and more over each passing day, Firefly did not return his affections. She only really viewed him as something to get her to the top. She didn't even know he loved her. When Firefly received her letter of acceptance from the Wonderbolt Academy one fateful day,
Okay, she looks pretty cool as a Wonderbolt. I want that in the game.
she leaped into the air with joy. It was finally her time to shine. She told Spectrum about it immediately, and he was overjoyed, telling her to get to the academy at once. She did, getting there before any of the other recruits. Firefly trained harshly over the course of the academy's program, even making a few friends along the way, namely a mare named Spitfire and her friend Fleetfoot. Though the program was long and grueling, the time finally came for the big final exam. The recruits would each create and perform their own aerial shows, and the top 2 students would become part of the Wonderbolts. Firefly gave her best performance, doing flips and tricks galore. She was good. At the end of the day, the captain of the Wonderbolts himself announced the new members of the Wonderbolts, Spitfire and Fleetfoot. Firefly's heart sunk down into the clouds beneath her as she heard those 2 names. She tried to hold back tears. After the ceremony, she flew to her dorm and furiously packed her things, crying to herself all the while. She had always thought of herself as the best, but now reality had shown her otherwise. As she wept, a face began to fade into the focus of her mind. It was Spectrum Streak. It was then she realized something. Without Spectrum, she never would have made it this far. He had always been there for her, encouraging her and guiding her throughout this whole process. He had been steadfastly loyal to her. She realized that she loved him. Returning home, Firefly saw Spectrum Streak standing in front of her door, waiting patiently for her to return home with the news. "Did you win membership into the Wonderbolts?" he asked, seeing Firefly beaming. "You did, didn't you?" he cried, smiling. "No, I didn't," Firefly said. "But I can think of one great thing that I have won." And with that, Firefly kissed Spectrum Streak full on the lips, tears of joy running down her face. Spectrum was in shock at first, but soon he wrapped his arms around her and they both kissed one another in a seemingly endless moment of boundless joy and deep sorrow. The couple dated for only a few months before their wedding. It was held in the cloud yard of Spectrum's house, both his and Firefly's families attending. Firefly moved in with Spectrum, his large home perfect for the 2 of them. It was then that Firefly found a new job, training young fillies and colts the basics of flight at the Junior Speedsters Flight Camp. Spectrum Streak continued his racing career, coming out in first almost every time. He decided to slow down a bit though, and made more room in his schedule for writing his stories. After a year or so of this new life of theirs, Firefly became pregnant with a baby filly. Spectrum was elated and worked hard to keep his wife happy and healthy while their child grew within her.
Okay, chat. I have a question for you. Did these characters exist before they were using this fanfic? Granted, what I might be seeing is multiple artists worked on this project for Ink Rose, but I keep on seeing different artwork from different artists, and they're the same characters. So I didn't know if she just hired a bunch of different artists for her project, or if they existed already and she's just using art from those characters from different sources, and she crafted it for her story. I hope I didn't tongue tie that too much for each chat.
Though it was a happy time, Firefly was less than thrilled about not being able to fly as freely as she used to be able to. Doing rough stunts and tricks could potentially hurt the baby, so she tried her best to fly carefully. Then the day came when the baby was born. Her beautiful multicolored mane from her father gained her the name Rainbow. Though as the parents saw how she zoomed around the house, they added Dash to the name as well. To be able to take care of this new child, Spectrum decided it was time for him to retire from the racing job. Instead, he worked at the Cloudsdale Library, as well as writing his own books.
Full Sail University's art and design programs embrace
Young Philly, joining this junior speedster's flight camp where her mother worked.
I didn't think chat would want to have multiple commercials going. Sorry about that, chat.
She was miles ahead of the other students, having the speed of her father and the agility of her mother. And to Firefly's surprise, one day Rainbow came up to her and told her that she wanted to be a Wonderbolt, as she had heard about them from her friends. Firefly saw an amazing opportunity. Perhaps she had not been able to get into the Wonderbolts, but she sure as heck would make sure her daughter did. Firefly took Rainbow to multiple Wonderbolt shows around Cloudsdale, and Rainbow Dash was immediately a fan, wanting to become a part of the flying team as soon as possible. Firefly reminded Dash that it would take a lot of work and practice every day, but the tiny blue Pegasus was up for the challenge, and Firefly began spending most of her time with her daughter, playing, practicing, and training with the young filly. Spectrum Streak would sometimes help out when it came to helping Dash with her racing strategy, but Dash didn't seem to connect with her father as much as she did her mother, so he stayed out of the training spotlight and continued to write his books and work.
Wait a minute, has Cutie Mark changed? There's something afoot here.
At the library. It was one day when Spectrum saw Dash playing Jungle Adventure with her friend Fluttershy when inspiration struck. An adventurous character based off of his little Dashie formed in his head. Quickly grabbing pieces of paper, Spectrum Streak wrote out a basic storyline of the tale of an adventure starring this newly born character.
Unfortunately, she definitely got this part wrong.
He called it Daring Do in the Quest for the Sapphire Stone. When he finished the rough draft of his story months later, he asked Dash if she'd like to read the story he had made about her. However, Dash just groaned and rolled her eyes at her father.
Reading's for eggheads, Daddy. I'm a sports pony. Sports ponies don't read books. That's what everybody at school says,
Dash said bluntly. Spectrum Streak stood still for a moment, heartbroken at his little one's dismissal of his favorite hobby. But he didn't want to force her to read it. That would just make her not want to read even more. He was a very passive stallion after all, and didn't want to argue with her. So he read through and fully edited the book on his own, and one day he sent it to a publisher, who liked it so much they actually published it. Spectrum decided to write under a pen name, though. He would rather use a name besides the one he had gained from his racing career. Because the first...
Hey, how's it going? I hope you're having fun. Hope you're enjoying the stream. I couldn't stream as much as I'd like to in the game because unfortunately I ran out of points, but I'm glad you're here. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share, and talk all you like. And I can see your comments now. Don't ask me what changed because there was no updates or anything. Anyway, let's get into it.
The book of the Daring Do series was such a success. He began to write more and more of the books, taking inspiration from his daughter's antics and adventures, but never able to share them with her. When Rainbow Dash, a small filly who was a part of the Junior Speedsters flight camp, performed the first ever sonic rain boom, all of Cloudsdale was chatting about it. A child to the sonic rain boom? Preposterous, impressive, amazing, impossible. Rainbow Dash was quite the little celebrity for the next few weeks.
Okay, I think this picture right here is probably my favorite one. I love the style of it, and the colors are very vibrant.
Ego growing larger and larger by the day. Ponies told her that she would get into the Wonderbolts for sure once she got old enough, and she believed them wholeheartedly. Firefly was very proud, and Spectrum could tell his daughter was destined for great things. The novelty of the stunt wore off over the course of a few months, though, and soon Dash was pretty much back to her original popularity, though with a great host of new friends.
Very, very true. It's just some of the artwork, it's been a little bit duller than not what I would normally consider normal. But you know, it's just different art styles, so that's how it is. But that last one definitely was my favorite one.
Firefly decided to pull her out of the Junior Speedsters flight camp, since she wanted her daughter to train alone at home, where she would get more one-on-one attention as well as not get distracted by the other students, especially the bullies. Though some of the students thought Dash had dropped out.
Okay, I take it back, chat. This is my favorite one. This looks really cool. Goes back to me liking night themed things so much, and then, well, you know, Spectrum. He's really cool, and he needs to be in the game. We need to protest it. Let's get him into the game.
Because of laziness. It was quite the opposite, really. Soon
That was a good episode too. We quasi got a rehash on it through the fanfic, but like to be honest with you, I definitely remember how Twilight got hers, and I remember Pinkie Pie's. I don't remember how Fluttershy got hers. It's been a while, and I don't remember Rarity, but I definitely remember Rainbow Dash, and I remember Applejack, and well, I just mentioned Twilight. Oh, let's get into it. But yeah, I love this picture so far. This is my favorite one in this video.
she was training harder than ever. Once Rainbow reached her teen years, she decided to move to Ponyville, where she had found a job as a weather manager. Some of her Cloudsdale friends were there too, like Fluttershy. She found a nice house and settled down. Though her parents missed her, they knew she was right in her decision to keep working hard and earning money. Guided by her parents, Rainbow had become one, if not the best flyer in Equestria. Her destiny was being fulfilled, and she was on her way to greatness.
All right, chat. I hate to do this, but I think that is the last one for today. The stream started a little bit later than I would have liked, and today I've been really, really busy and I have more stuff to do. Again, I regret doing this. The next Saturday, unless something really dumb happens. What you know what? I always say that unless something really dumb happens, and then something dumb does happen. But hopefully, if nothing dumb happens next Saturday, the stream will be earlier, a little bit earlier and longer. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed this, and I hope you enjoyed my commentary. It wasn't too much this time because some of it I had forgotten. And I hope you enjoyed the gameplay, which I wish would have been longer. But I want you all to have a fantastic weekend. I hope you're having fun with the game and fun with this. Peace be with you, and have a great weekend.